Beautiful. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Mr. Brad Chester. The dude on top is Mr. Brian Horton, and we are going to do stuff and or things. And I'm going to see how long my voice lasts because my neck is currently a doctor tripsing it, and I'm going to be dead soon. But I do have a doctor's appointment later this evening, so maybe I'll get some magic drugs. Magic
Hey,
legs,
Brad,
Lieutenant
I,
Dan.
I just have one thing to say to you. I know I've been picking on you the last, day and a half, but yeah, here's a super chat. Go blue, just cause I'm just saying, go blue.
Ah, I'm going to respond the same way I do to everybody. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I only watch ice dancing.
Yeah.
The best is my buddy wanted to talk about. He was talking about like possible playoffs shit and stuff like that, and I kept giving him the I only watch ice dancing, and then he literally phrased in chat an entire thing of okay, well let's just say two ice dancing teams and just like made it all up. I'm like, ah, fuck you.
I mean,
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it.
yep. Uh, but that's my rip for the day because it's just been absolutely super funny sending you memes the last day and a half. And considering SU beat Miami, it was kind of gave me a little warm in my cockles. We'll call it there.
We're not even talking about that game. We just, I felt like we tried to lose. You know, just like,
Oh, 100%, 100%.
it was nuts. Like, whatever. I'm not even going to football because
But I mean,
the rest of the people watching will be annoyed at us. So, but
absolutely.
I could, I have, how about this? I have opinions about that game.
I bet. Maybe we'll talk about that on Thursday. So anyway, we did get 2 spicy detachments from the Red Gobbo. I mean, kudos to GW for doing something super fun with this and theming their data slate drop a little bit. So it's kind of fun.
I love this because we had a period. I talked to the guys at Worlds about this, and I go, hey, obviously you can't tell me shit about shit, you know what I mean, with your NDAs, but it's felt very samey. I didn't feel excited going into Worlds because we haven't got anything new in forever. And now we're getting this advent calendar. Obviously, the new year is going to be a bunch of new codices, and it looks like we're going to go back to a very spicy, very exciting calendar timetable, you know what I mean, of new codices. But I love this idea, you know what I mean? Everyone wants something, you know what I mean? You have to be doing shit all the time, even if it's just tiny shit, you know what I mean? But adding these detachments and giving everybody a new detachment, I feel is a great idea. Don't make anything too OP. Give them some choices, you know what I mean? Give yourself some ideas. I mean, making armies, figuring shit out is one of the funnest things in this hobby.
Diversity is the spice of life, right? So being able to do more with your army and having more options for your stuff is always a good time. If I was a super Death Guard player right now, I'd be going crazy.
Dude, let's talk about this. Just the detachment rule is awesome. Units from your army that are not embarked within a transport have a scout 5 inches and stealth ability, which is wildly the bigger part.
Did that say and? Because I just thought at the end of the Scouts 5, I was like, oh, that's pretty fun. And then it said, and stealth. Hi, Blight Lord Terminators. How you doing? Remember how we were hard to kill?
I mean, think about it. We've had entire army detachments before with just -1, you know what I mean? At Leotok, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things of that nature. This is strong, dude. You know what I mean? -1 to hit's just a great ability. Oh, KR, I had a really good time at Worlds. I made some my army decision was probably not on point because I got damage checked. Went 3-1 in my pod, and then I had some real health problems and tried to play through them, and it was dumb. Now I woke up. I couldn't stand my super migraine problems. Plus, I get vertigo really bad. and I tried to come downstairs in the last minute, threw up twice in the middle of my first game, and decided to play. Luckily, Donovan and Sherwin both took care of me. I played Sherwin in the second game, and we had fun. I told him I was having a bad day, and we just laughed it off because multiple times I was staring off into nowhere, and he's just like, "Just roll some dice, brother." And I'm like, "No problem. You tell me what happened." And I'm like, "It." I had a great time through my pod. I didn't have enough AP to deal with a bunch of two up armor saves. Played very, very strong. I was very happy with my pod. You know, I mean, I went 3-1, and I took out some matches that I had real problems with, and almost pulled off the last one. Like I said, and then I just had a bad day. So, yeah, it is what it is, and I enjoyed it. The GW did put out a really great production. They had tons of I love the fact that they have tons of judges. They just have tons of people working. So there's always somebody right there to take care of whether it's a ruling, a question, just a whatever. You know what I mean? They have all the cool shit. They had a huge store there. They've got the giant space marine. They had banners all over. They had flags from every single one of the countries that were represented in the worlds. It was just really cool. I enjoyed their setup. You know what I mean? They had like a really good, their production value is, excuse me, really good there. And I'll go again if they don't hold it at the same time as Du Bois. Because right about the time I was dying, I thought, man, you know what would have been easier? If I was with Horton right now and he basically realized that I was really busted up and you gave me the thou shall not pass Gandalf style. I had to tell the boys that too. I go, you guys have to know that the dude that gets confused because my brain doesn't work sometimes occasionally needs an adult to shoo him away for a little bit until he comes back. I have a suitcase full of pills for a reason. Take some of those, come back later, enjoy your time. And I say this all the time, but like wins and losses, yes, I'm not trying to lose tournaments, but like having a good time is so much more important.
Absolutely.
So,
And so we'll continue on with the detachment review because that's
yes.
what we came in for, just for the fun of it. So that the combo of the 5-inch scout and stealth is just going to be super strong. I think it's
huge. It's
unbelievably huge in teams. I think it's so much bigger there. In singles, it's going to be really good as well. But I think in teams, this just plays
especially when
pivotal role.
When you give people don't have a lot of forward deployers and you can really take advantage of that scout. One of the things about Death Guard, its detriments, is it's slow.
Yep.
You're giving them that 5-inch, all of a sudden you are getting on the objective immediately. You know what I mean? That's a big thing, man. Like, who? Again, being stealth, -1 to hit is it's just a big deal. You have shit that's already durable. Having built-in stealth is just really strong.
Well, and then you pair that up with the detachment enhancements, starting off with that drowning chorus.
I think this is huge on stuff. Turning the weapons into assault means that you can just run up and blast people. They have so many different weapon types, especially like in the Plague Marine units, Hellblight Lord Terminators, you know what I mean? They have everything. So I think this is good. I mean, I think, to be honest, the both of these, I mean, I think that the enhancements they did a great job on.
Oh, absolutely agree with you on that one.
Because I think that, you know what, I'm going to bounce a little bit. I'm going to skip one and come back. Because I want to talk about insectile mermaid mutation afterwards. But Rejuvenating Swarm might be the best 10-point enhancement in the game.
100%.
It's just because of the cost. You know what I mean? Tell me how many times you're at 1990 with the list. I'll slap this on every time. Yep. At the end of the phase, you regen all your wounds. And the biggest thing is it's the phase. You know what I mean? It's not the end of the turn, not anything.
That is one of the enhancements that I think is just going to be, hey, look, I'm running a lone sorcerer over here. Can you kill him in one shot? No? All right, he's back.
Right.
He's fine.
It's so big. Yeah. And most of these characters have enough wounds to make it a big deal. I just think this one's crazy for 10 points. Love it. It's not game imbalancing, but it's just so good. Now, insectile, I like this a lot, but I don't know how much I like it because each time a model in the bear's unit. Now, that's the biggest thing. It's a 20 point, but it's not the guy. It's the unit that he joins. Target a unit that is with contagion range of one or more Death Guard units, which is going to be all the time. You roll a wound, roll a one. You're just re-rolling ones to wound, which is legit. Yeah, I mean,
It's super good. Rerolls, as we've always known, are fantastic. Rerolling wound rolls is not as prevalent in this edition, so that's really really good. I think it's going to be very strong, especially somebody leaning, Terminators.
yeah.
Plain and simple.
And we're already seeing those lists too. It looks fantastic.
Yep.
And then the Plague Veil for 25 points. While the bear's unit is within a range of one or more objective markers that you control, the unit can only be selected as target of a ranged attack if the attack model is within 18. It's poor man's, it's Kyria Draxus, basically, which is fantastic. Also, you're the beginning of it is no big deal. If you're not on any objective with somebody that has this, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, why aren't you on the objective? So this is a big deal on this. I like this quite a bit. I don't know if I like it for 25 points, but I do like it. You know what I mean? It's just nice to have. You're going to take your neutral zone objective. Probably the middle's too close. Take the neutral. Just sit on it, especially when you're talking about having a 5-inch scout. It's fine. All of these are good. The Swarm, Rejuvenating Swarm, it just feels 100% at it. It feels like a 10-point no-brainer.
Yeah, it's definitely a 10-point no-brainer.
Now, I was really happy with the strats here because I didn't think they were bananas, but I thought they were all pretty goddamn useful. You know what I mean?
I think they were all pointed correctly too. Like none of them are too high for what they need to be at 1 CP. That they seem pretty solid.
So I'm gonna skip all over the place just a little bit because I think that because one's so good. So when you're talking about a slow army and you go, hey man, you know what would be cool? I already have the scout move. I've got there. What would be better? Hey, how about if I consolidate 6 inches?
Yeah.
Whoa, for 1 CP? Yes, please.
Yeah.
I thought it was strong when I was using it with Blood Angels and or Tyranids, let alone, excuse me, talking about slow moving Death Guard infantry. 6 inches is more than any of their moves. Getting tucked into something else, this is a big deal for this army. You know what I mean?
But it makes screening out harder. It makes pre-planning, like, okay, he's going to hit that. He's going to kill that. He consolidates 6 inches.
Yeah, well, let's talk about this because it's not a 6-inch after. It's a 6-inch in the fight phase, which means I make the charge to that front thing and then I 6-inch consolidate, and all of a sudden I'm touching 1, 2 more units in your army that are the things that I actually wanted to fight in the first place. You know what I mean? You can get around people. You can just literally walk all the way around a screen sometimes on that. It's just a lot of movement, man. I like that one quite a bit. So
well, I like it because you can also charge and then, hey, yeah, well, I've set it up so when you consolidate, you can't consolidate over onto the objective. No, I can consolidate onto that objective.
Yep, I was just going to say, now I can. Well, the one here it might be the one that I think is the least, unless you've got some sort of combos, is nauseating paroxysms. Because you're basically just making somebody take a battle shock at -1. And I don't know if I feel like this is worth a CP for me. It's like a cool trick when you're doing stuff with like neurolictors and knights and things of that, chaos knights and stuff, when you're getting it for free. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? Like, I've never been a huge fan of paying for battle shocks, I guess.
I don't mind it if there's other things that combo off of it. I don't play Death Guard. I will admit that I don't play against Death Guard enough to know every one of their rules inside and out, but I'm sure somewhere in that there's rerolls for stuff that's battle shocked and things along those lines. I'm not positive. I don't remember well enough. But it's situational, but it's not bad.
And it's a big deal in that I just it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's fine. You know, it's not terrible. I hate spending a CP. I don't like spending CP if I'm not getting 100% something. And this is not 100% something. This is a hope and a prayer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
because sometimes, a lot of times you're against stuff that's got leadership 6, and
oh,
even at
characters level
-1, it's
5, you know,
50 feet.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just like, it, 100% you're trying to shut down deflect. You know what I mean? I know what you're trying to do with this, and it sounds
yep.
fantastic, but when you spend a CP and they make that check, it's going to feel meh, you know?
If it was spend 1 CP, unit is battle shocked.
Yeah.
When you're within, X number
I wouldn't
of
even say battle
engagement
strat, just
range.
straight up just say you can't use a strat. You know what I mean? That would
Yeah.
be
Yep.
so. Hey, Snuggle Matt, love it.
Thanks.
Now, the one that I like quite a bit is Droning Whore. I don't know how many. It's really going to be what you're trying to bring, though. So, in the shooting phase, Death Guard infantry unit from your army. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a ranged attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. If the attack targets a unit within half range, you can reroll the hit roll, basically full rerolls.
Yeah.
This is pretty legit. Also, depending on what you're talking about shooting and whatnot, because you're going to think like a Plague Marine unit has kind of a lot of special weapons in it between Meltas and Flamers. Obviously, the Flamers don't make any difference here, but in Plasma and everything else, full rerolls is always pretty damn good. And this applies for, again, Blight Lords, the Death Shroud Terminators, of course, will have their Flamers. Yeah, you probably could use a Blightbringer for that. Oh, what's up, Zach? Love seeing you, buddy. So, I mean, to be honest with you, anytime you give me a strat that says I can have full rerolls, I'll probably use it. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. I mean, it's going to get used. It's going to be situational. You're not going to use it in every game, but it'll be fantastically fun when you do.
So this one I had to read like 3 times. Enervating Onslaught. I'm just going to read it, everybody. So your charge phase, just after a Death Guard infantry unit from your army makes a charge move. So after. The target is your unit. Select one enemy unit within engagement range of your unit, not monsters or vehicles, though. Roll a d6 for each model in your unit that is within engagement range of that unit. Add 1 if you're not a chump, Voltus or Poxwalker. And then on 5+, so basically on 4-ups, the selected unit suffers a mortal wound. Effectively, you're just saying that you can grenade another unit in combat.
It's
good.
A style of tank shock.
Yeah, it was just like,
it's infantry tank shock.
Which is kind of funny though, because like if you've got the CP and you're doing any sort of CP regen or anything, you can just straight up do grenade, charge, and this. You know what I mean? And slam down a possible 12 mortals, which isn't a joke, man. You know what I mean? Then you're fighting. So you could just straight kill a lot of shit. Now, it doesn't work on monsters or vehicles, which does suck a little bit because half the things I want to grenade / tank shock / whatever are the big things. I want to kill.
This looks stink shock. I like it. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, stink shock. You know what? I love that. That's what I'm calling it.
That's great. I really like this because some of the times when you're having your units charge, you just need to clear out more models, especially with the rise of a little bit of hordes, for controlling areas.
Again,
especially with that. I mean, if you've played against the infinite guard models, which it feels like infinite guard,
it does.
This gives you more range of getting rid of annoyance.
Well, and I'll go for KR on that. It's not models in engagement, it's an enemy unit with engagement. So as long as you make engagement, period.
Yeah.
Then the second part is engagement, engage a range of that unit. So he's not wrong on that. So, but I think that everybody should be, I guess if you're making long charges, I mean, at that point in time, do you double up with 6 consolidate? No, because in the charge phase, I want to get the consolidate first. No, so it's just everybody that's in. I like this and I don't like it. I really wish that they didn't have an exclusion on it. If this didn't have the monster vehicle exclusion, I would think this is amazing.
It would be too good for 1 CP if it didn't have that.
Yeah, probably, possibly. It's just the things that I want to do mortal wounds to are hard targets. You know what I mean? And a lot of hard targets are vehicles and monsters. You know what I mean? I want to get rid of a Rogel Dorn. I want to get rid of the Avatar. You know what I mean? I want to kill somebody that's got a 2-up save, might have -1 to wound or something. You know what I mean? That's the guys that I want. I still think this strat's fantastic. I just wish it didn't have the exclusions on it.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. And Yeah, it's on 4-ups when you're charging with your main part of your army, but even with 5-ups with cultists and poxwalkers sometimes is just a crucial.
Well, I
Get
love it
some.
with the poxwalkers. Man, a 20-man poxwalker, you're almost guaranteed to just get 6 mortal wounds.
Yep,
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
and then you're probably not going to kill all of them. Yeah, I mean, so that's a
And
big
then
deal.
we're getting up on one of my favorite strats for this army.
Eye of the Swarm.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love this strat.
This is a big deal in this. Your shooting phase. One Death Guard infantry unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. Till the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by your unit, excluding blast weapons, have the pistol ability. And this is a huge deal because when you're talking about Plague Marines, Blade Lord Terminators, there's so many times that you want to be, grinding away in combat because you've got great ability to do shit. You're probably going to be sitting up on an objective in the first place. Being able to turn, I don't know, your melter guns, plasma, all of that pistoled up is a big deal. Yeah, I mean,
Even the death shrouds with turning their flamers into pistols.
aren't they already pistols?
Are they? Again, I'm not an expert on Death Guard. I've played against them enough to know most of their rules.
But I'm saying it's more for to be honest with you, it's really big for the Blight Lords and stuff like that. Yeah,
it's huge for the Blight Lord. I think this is the thing that pushes Blight Lords up notches further. This entire detachment.
So 100%. Before it was just straight, just take the Death Shrouds, and all the Blight Lords I think are going to see more play.
Yep.
Now, Mephitic configuration is kind of cool. Your opponent's shooting phase just after enemy is selected as targets, one Death Guard infantry unit from your army that is within 6 inches of one or more friendly Mephitic Blade Haulers. That was selected as a target of one or more of the attacking unit's attacks. Till the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit, the strength characteristic of the unit is greater than the toughness. Basically, it's ghetto -1 to wound. As long as it's a big weapon. But it's kind of cool, actually, because, again, -1 to wound is always going to be a big deal. So,
the stuff shooting at your Terminators, if there's a Blight Hauler nearby, the weapons that you want to be shooting at them that are higher strength are no longer wounding on 3s. They're wounding on 4s, which makes you more survivable.
Yeah, I mean, all of these are just good. You know what I mean? They just, and they're all decent. You know what I mean? And I like this detachment quite a bit because of the fact that the detachment rules are really good and all of the strats are pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some are like Vermin Cloud for me is the star here, but these are fine. You know what I mean? And I like this quite a bit. I like detachment rules. Period. I'm a sucker for cool detachments. So I like this quite a bit. I think this is a very tasty army.
I think this makes me want to break out my Death Guard that I have not played this edition. In all honesty, it makes me feel like I want to put Terminators on the table and have a good time and relearn an army that I own.
I can see that on that. I mean, I like this quite a bit. Like I said, sorry guys. My piles of oak rags. Speaking of Nurgle,
yeah, you've been touched by him. It's clear.
Won't go away. Now, I think, click, we're going to talk spiciness here. Lion's Blade. Some of these are pretty wacky.
Yeah, this is the one that someone's got to convince me on is better than what my brain wants to think it is.
A lot of it's too combo for me. Exactly. It's 100% Nurgle Brad. What's up, Mr. Scribs? Max Terminators, I still have PTSD from all the 2+ saves that I was given when I was playing my orcs at Worlds. And I'm like, oh yeah, you have 2-up save and armor contempt? Womp womp. My AP1 army is gonna have real problems here. So let's talk about the lion in the Lion's Claw. Each Titan enemy unit, excluding monsters or vehicles, when engaged in range of one or more Raven Wing units from your army, falls back. All bodies in that enemy unit must take a desperate escape test. When doing so, if the unit is battle shocked, subtract 1 for each of these tests. So that shit's crazy. You know what I mean? I mean, if you're grabbing multiple things. Now, I'm going to go to the second part in just a second, because the thing about it is when you're talking about these bigger bike units and things of that nature, just a 3-man bike unit takes up a huge amount of space. And if I can touch a bunch of shit, this works so much better, obviously, in a shooting army. When you're playing against a shooting army, you know, when you're playing against wolves and world eaters and shit like that, they're like, good to hear, punch. You know, like I wasn't leaving anyways. But if you're playing against gun lines and shit like that, this is pretty legit, man.
I mean, the fact that if they are battle shocked, there's a 50% chance they're losing models.
Correct, which is crazy.
Which is nuts. I mean, that's I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not sure 100% how I feel about it, but it is interesting.
And that's the thing. And then the second part of it is each time a Deathwing unit from your army declares a charge, if one or more targets of that charge are within engagement range from one or more Ravenwing units, add 2 to the charge. So effectively, I like the idea of it. I just don't know if this is actually something that can be used right. You know what I mean? But obviously the idea is Ravenwing extends the board, Deathwing then delivers the hammer, you know what I mean, after they grab somebody. So I love the idea. Thematically, this is very, very cool. Whether or not this is going to make any sense on the board, I don't know. But I love thematic, you know what I mean? And I need to give GW props on this, because we're going to have some misses, we're going to have some hits. I've been bitching so often that I just want flavor in my armies, the detachments and stuff like this. And whether you like this detachment rule or not, it's flavorful. So I'm giving them that. You know what I mean? This is very flavorful. It works with Ravenwing, Deathwing. You know what I mean? It makes sense.
So, I mean, are we going to see a return of a Storm Raven because of this?
I was debating on that, man. You know what I mean? There's a couple things that I was debating on. Well, anything that goes just super fast. You know what I mean? Anything that can get extra movement, all that. Because, like, I can slingshot people at +2, you know what I mean, on the charge. So I haven't gone super down the rabbit hole, but I was trying to figure out ways that I could zoom up and try to get some people in. Dark Shrouds 100%. So I 100% care. I love the combined arms. Thematically this is really big because of the fact that Deathwing, Ravenwing have been people that have worked together for forever in the lore. You know what I mean? So, yeah, the forward moving, the super fast Ravenwing, and then you had the anvil, that slammed down came in of the Deathwing. So I like the idea of this a lot. Now let's go to the enhancements, because go ahead. Sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I mean, absolutely. I want to hear your take on this part.
I'm a weird dude about anything that adds +1 damage. I love it. I don't know why, but I've always been kind of weird about if I can give my characters extra damage, I just really like it. So, like, just straight up having +1 damage. Is it worth 15 points? I don't know, but I like that ability. You know what I mean? Because you've got a lot of guys that can be buffed up from damage 2 to damage 3, which is a huge breakpoint in this meta, especially. So I think this is a big deal.
I'm a fan, but it has to go, with it just going on an Adeptus Astartes model. It's not bad, because that you can put on your Terminator, you can put it on your chaplains. It's interesting. I want to see where I would like to see where that falls, and its point cost is reasonable.
100% on that. At Storm Ravens, because of the fact that in hover they still go 20 inches, so you can just zoom up. Lord of the Hunt. Bear's unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in turn which it fell back. You can reroll Desperate Escape text taken from models of the Bear's unit. I like this quite a bit because it's effectively saying I can just leave no matter what. Screw you.
Yep.
And also, if you're using Ravenwing to set up those +2 charges from your Deathwing, you kind of want to be able to keep utilizing the same unit if you can, if they didn't do anything to it the last turn.
Yep.
Stalwart Champion, 25 points. Captain, chaplain, or lieutenant model only. While the bear's unit is not battle shock, add one of the objective control characteristic models in this bear's unit. This is bananas, by the way, because you already have the banner inside the termies that gives you +1 OC. So you could just add a character into, you put a captain in Terminator armor in that unit, and all of a sudden your dudes are OC4.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So like
five Terminators are going to be,
just
5 Terminators and a character are going to be OC 20, plus the character being, depending upon what character it is, at least OC 3.
Yeah, man, this seems legit. You just slam that unit down on an objective and go, what? You know what I mean? Yeah, I like this quite a bit. I like this one quite. I like the enhancements more than I like anything else. So, Vulgus Magna. I'm sure I just destroyed that, but whatever. Deathwing model only. Once per battle at the end of your opponent's turn, if the bear's unit is not within engaged range of one or more enemy units, the bear can use this enhancement. If it does, remove the bear's unit from the battlefield and place it in strategic reserves. I like this, but like there's so many armies that get uppy downy for nothing and or can use it in the movement phase. That this is good, but
it's super good.
It's really well.
It's only 20 points too, so it's not like it's ridiculously expensive.
Well, the bigger thing is it's Deathwing. So like Deathwing can get. I just did something and I'm now in the corner of the battlefield. This sucks. This is a nice get out of jail free charge. You know what I mean? Yep. Somebody makes you charge into the corner. Somebody puts something way behind you. You know what I mean? So. I always want to give shout outs. Apparently there's a charity tournament going on the 14th and 15th out east, Tri-State Rogue State Games. I'm always a sucker for charity, Hammer. Playing with toys for a purpose. Now let's talk about these strats. Some of them are crazy on this, so I'm not much going to do in order. I'll snake. When I say in order, I talk about Brad order, which gives no rhyme, no reason. Command phase, or the start of the fight phase, which I thought was wacky just saying in the first place.
Yeah, that was a little strange.
Yeah. Adeptus to start a unit from your army. Select one enemy unit with engagement range in your unit. That enemy unit must take a battle shock test. When doing so, if your unit has the Deathring or Raven keyword, which if you're playing this detachment, yes. Subtract 1 from the result. And you can only use it once, so you can't just slam 100 battle shocks on people. This is another one. It's exactly like the Death Guard one where...
Yep.
Yeah, is it good? It's okay. My only problem is, again, I'm paying 1 CP for a maybe. You know what I mean? So, like, I hate doing that. If they said I'm +1 to do anything, and to be honest with you, a lot of the battle shock strats usually have battle shock plus something. You know what I mean? Yep. So, exactly the same way I felt about the Death Guard one. Meh. It is what it is.
And Armor of Contempt's in every Space Marine detachment, so we knew that was...
Armor Contempt. Let's go back up to Knights of Iron here. Your movement phase or your charge phase, a Raven Wing unit. At the end of the phase, each time a model in your army makes a normal, advanced, or charge move, it can move horizontally through terrain features for 1 CP. Fucking shit, this is amazing. Also, yes, it is 100% about time. This right here makes this detachment like actually tasty for me. You know what I mean? Thinking about doing something with it, because you can just park bikes right up against walls, 1 CP, boom, right through shit. You know what I mean?
See, and my thing, the Storm Raven flying through a wall and not around a wall when it's hovering, I think that's going to be a big thing.
Any of those things, dude. Any of the speeders, any of the bikes. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can use that strat then. You know what I mean? Or I'm sorry, you can use the detachment roll on it. I mean, this is so good. It just is. I mean, also bring back real fly rolls. But also,
yeah.
But it's a big deal. And the big thing is that it can be used in the charge phase. You can charge through walls. You can move through walls. It's very utility. It's a big deal. So speeders don't have to use fly. Exactly, KR. Because everybody knows that fucking fly is a detriment to you. And you can only fly about 6 to 7 inches off the ground. That's the only way you can do it. But I think this CP, I think this strat that only costs 1 CP is super legit.
Yep.
So let's go on this. This is a pretty wacky one. The Illuminating Fire. Shooting phase for Raven Wing unit. Select one enemy unit within 12 inches of your unit that was selected as the target of one or more of the attacking unit's attacks. Until the end of the phase, each time a friendly Deathwing unit makes an attack, that enemy unit adds +1 to wound. I don't know how I feel about this because it's shooting. I wish it was more of a combo where I shot something with Raven Wing and then I basically punch somebody. Because most of the Deathwing doesn't have like amazing shooting. I mean, +1 to hit, or +1 to wound with all the bolters and nonsense. Obviously, you probably got a missile or whatnot in there, but like, meh. I think this is fine.
It's good. It's not amazing.
Yeah. I do wish it was punching. You know what I mean? I wish like if I shot somebody, they basically got some sort of suppressing fire effect, and then I was +1 to wound afterwards. KR brings up a good point. He goes, this might work since you can make Dread Deathwing work. Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on what gets the keyword, to be honest with you. We'll see, because we still have a full data sheet on it. So I'm going to read Strength and Unity mainly because it's a goddamn story. So sit down, everybody, and get ready for Old Man Brad's Story Hour. Also, Jesus Christ, what's there a fucking other hat? Fight phase. Just after the enemy unit has selected its target. So basically you get targeted and you choose this. One adept is a starter's unit from your army that was selected as a target, or one or more of the enemy attacking units. If the enemy unit is within engagement range of one or more Raven Wing units from your army, till the end of the phase, each time a model in the enemy unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit. If the enemy unit is within engagement range of Deathwing, each time a model in the unit makes attack, it basically, if its strength is greater than yours, -1 to wound. You can't double this up with armor and contempt, which is immediately what I thought that as soon as I read this, by the way, I was like, fuck yeah, I'll just armor and contempt this bitch too. And then they're like, nah. The guy got paid by the word writing this strat.
It's because of the way this is designed to combo. Like, you've got your Raven Wing in there, the Deathwing comes charging in. It seems like a good strat. It seems like it'd be pretty decent. I think it's going to be situational in instances.
I mean, if you could pull this off, though, if you're using the detachment the way they want you to, and you've got a Raven Wing unit and a Deathwing unit in, they are -1 to hit, -1 to wound, which is pretty nasty for fucking 1 CP.
Well, yeah, it -1 to wound with things that are the stuff that would be wounding you better anyways. So I mean, it's again, you're pretty much going to be toughness 5 or better on everything in your army. So the stuff that's designed to kill you in melee will not be doing as effective of a job.
I mean, it's legit of a strat if you're pulling it off. You know what I mean? And again, -1 to hit. We were already talking about it. The Death Guard is always good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and like I said, these are still 1 CP strats. So these are still very, this is something I'll pull. I mean, shit, I pull lightning fast reflexes all the time. You know what I mean? So I can see this. You know what I mean? It's legit. I like this. Let's go to Inescapable Wrath. Now, this is a 2 CP. I think it's our only 2 CP strat.
Only 2 CP in this one, yeah.
Any of your opponent's charge phase. Now, again, any of your opponent's charge phase. 1 Deathwing Infantry or Deathwing Walker unit from your army that is within 6 inches of 1 or more enemy units and will be eligible to declare a charge against 1 or more of these enemy units if were your charge phase, which is one of the poorest worded target.
Basically, if it's within 6 inches of an enemy unit.
All they had to say was, if you're eligible to heroically intervene. There you go.
But you're not, it does, you don't have to, no, because heroic intervention is if a unit charged. This is, hey, guess what? You left a guy out there within 6 inches of me. I'm charging.
Sorry. I said that wrong. I was thinking about the whether, because you can just fuck some shit up, man. Like if someone just puts some shit in front of your, let me read the rest of it, then I'll go into what I can do. You're not there's a charge that only targets one or more of these enemy units, and you resolve that charge. Note that even if this charge is successful, your unit does not receive any charge bonus this turn.
Which is fine.
I do not care. This is a disgusting strat, and this is why I wanted to do it last. Because how many times has somebody put some random trash, exactly, Deflux, to do old heroic? How many times in this edition are you just sitting there a little bit enfuegoed as some random idiot is stealing an objective from you, and you're like, nah, and your big ass unit, like a Deathwing Terminator unit's going, really? Ted and friends is sitting in front of me? Nope. I mean, this is a huge thing, especially in this day and age. Hey, Aquilans, you thought you were screening me out? How about you guys all die on my turn? And then I
Not
just walk
even
past
just
you.
that. Like someone drops in set, you have just a walker back on your home objective, the ballista strat, right? Use that as an example, and then you go, no, let's bring something in to stomp him out or whatever. Your Redemptor Dread back there more would be better, but the Redemptor Dread just plops in on the
Any
Inceptor,
of
so the
these,
thing will
man.
keep strike 3 in a way.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly, KR. It is a Fokir 3-inch deep strike roll. It's a big deal, but I like this quite a bit because GW has been doing a ton of 3-inch deep strike shit. And I'll be Downey armies and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and let alone, you can still use heroic. I mean, if you have 3 CP, you can still just heroic.
Yeah, if they charge you something else, yeah, you can get some scrap. But this is a big deal because this is an army that doesn't let people do nonsense to it.
Yep.
You put some Inceptors there, you put the Aquilans there, you put a 3-inch deep strike from Necrons, Grey Knights, whatever. Yeah, exactly, Eddie. As a GK player, fuck this rule. When a unit of Terminators goes, yeah, I'm real tired of your nonsense. Just boom.
At the end of the day, I think this is the one thing where I go, all right, this gives me some incentive to try this detachment out, because I can, by just having CP go, you sure you want to do that?
I mean, this makes certain units like really tasty though, because I'm already gonna, if you're doing something like this, I want CP, so I want an Azzy. You can put them with some inner circle companions, and then use like this shit and just go, hey, Azzy boys, just fucking snatch that fucking objective from you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You have to watch out because this is 6 inches, dude. You know what I mean? That's just a healthy distance. I mean, you could, especially when you're talking about GW terrain, there's a ton of times when you can just sit right off the objective and then you can get the entire objective with 6 inches. You know what I mean? So I like this kind of back. Bring back Gorbulu.
I think this detachment's going to see play. I'm not saying it's better than Gladius in any way, shape, or form, but I think it's going to see play on the competitive side of things. I don't know how well over time it's going to perform, but it looks interesting.
You know what's really crazy? I don't know if they did this on purpose, but I think the detachment rules for Death Guard were better, and I think the strats are better for the Ravenwing Air. So, like, because these strats were just legit. You know what I mean? Obviously, armor crit time's amazing, and always has been, always will.
Yep. And I think that strength and unity is very strong. I think Inescapable Wrath is slightly bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, this makes the detachment by itself, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Michigan State, Ohio State brawl. The Andy, it's hard to rate these until we get them all. To be honest with you, you know what? We'll do this because I think we get the last one right before Christmas, right?
Yep.
We'll do a stream and we'll actually rank them from first to last. We'll Ricky Bobby them.
Absolutely. We'll try and do it.
But it's hard to rake these without in a vacuum. You know what I mean? It's actually hard right now to rank these because I think that this detachment rule is wonky, but like maybe somebody will make it work right away and get a you know what I mean, a mojo for it. I just think these strats are hot fire.
So, Andy, on a first pass score, I on this one, I'm going to give it a 5 because I'm not sure. Like, I think it's got legs, but I don't think it's going to be anything above a 5 at the moment.
Say these strats are an 8 and the detachment rules of 4.
Yeah,
So I mean, I could get your composite on that.
yeah, maybe a 6 if you push it.
Yeah.
I think the Death Guard one's like a 7. I think it's really strong.
It's that just the base detachment rule. Anytime you have a detachment rule that's just strong, period. You don't have to do any fucking about with it. You know what I mean? It's just I can scout and I have stealth. -1 to hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just I don't have to make any shit work.
The stealth might make it a 9. I could be overstretching there, but it's at minimum a 7.
It's just it's very very good on that. So, I mean, again, just army wide, go fuck yourself, and it's not stealth within a range or anything. It's just
it's
stealth.
Stealth. We stanky boys.
The DA1 stronger than anything or supplement. I don't, right? Probably, to be honest with you.
I would agree with that.
The stats are just so good. I mean, just the fact that they, obviously auto put in armor content, but armor content and a scap of wrath and strength and unity, if you're making this work, is going to be legit. -1 to hit, -1 to wound. It's just good. You know what I mean? So I think the strats are really good in here. The detachment rule is fantastic. Plus these enhancements are just good.
Oh yeah, the Death Guard stuff is, yeah, it's super spicy. If you had to give it just an initial reaction score, what would you give it?
7.5.
All right, that's fair.
I think the strats are okay. I think that.
And right, if I understood everything, the data slate drops at the end of all these detachments as well, right?
Correct.
So I think the way we probably want to look at it is like, I'm gonna guess like the 28th, which is a Saturday. We could probably do a stream talking about everything, because I assume by then everything will be out. We'll be over our holiday hangover, and we'll be gearing up for the next holiday. But I think that's a good time to shoot for that we might look at.
Yeah, because we'll have all the rules at this point in time.
Yep.
But I think these are both good. I like the fact I'm glad that these aren't like big misses. You know what I mean? Where there's nothing. So, I mean, I think this detachment rule. I think the Death Guard detachment rule is just so good that it's hard not to say that it's the winner if you were head-to-heading these guys.
If you were head-to-heading them, I think the Death Guard one's better. But I don't think either of them are this, which is nice. I like seeing... I like getting 2 detachments out of 2 days and going, hey, you know what? I wouldn't mind trying either of these out on a table.
And yeah, you can definitely guest appear for sure. But only if you call space wolves. Wolves. LV, no, thank you. OOF, that's what I'm at, baby. But that's where I am on these. I like these quite a bit.
I thought they were good.
No, I'm happy that they put it out. I want to see. Now, I want everybody to throw out there. When are we going to get our first stinker? And when are we going to get our first, what the shit were you guys thinking? This is like the best thing that's ever been put out.
Apparently the Tyranid one is tomorrow, so we'll get our first stinker tomorrow.
Oh.
Because Tyranids have good detachments right now. I didn't feel like they needed another one, but if they get theirs tomorrow, I'll be happy to discuss it and probably complain about it or be like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that. But I'm gonna assume this one's gonna be the stinker.
I'm waiting to see, because I want to see.
And the one that I think is going to be bonkers is probably going to be something like Guard.
Guard, you're like, what? All units have lethal and sustained. Like, for what? They just do.
They just do.
Custodes, another one that makes sisters do something neat.
Yeah.
It does. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I won't get into that. It still bugs me that Custodes. I'm a huge lore nerd, of course. By the way, wearing my 40k lorecast hat. I've got you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to throw on my sweatshirt that says has a picture of the emperor and it says world's worst dad. But
Well, that's all right, Brad. Right now I have someone doing for your merch for everything. They are actually doing a cat in power armor with a giant scroll going down to the floor that says the lore cats.
40k lore cats. The
But no, so seeing you got your little like 5 second recap from Worlds, I'll do a quick recap of Du Bois.
yes, please. I was just about to say that.
So for Du Bois, the doubles tournament, which was absolutely fantastic because GW the week before in White Dwarf dropped doubles rules and we used them. We tried
I didn't
three
even
of them.
realize that, did they?
Oh, they did. In the most recent White Dwarf, 506, they dropped doubles, triples, and quads rules. And for all out battles where you just like have 4 different people going at it on the board. And we used 3 of the craziest because like one of the missions had 6 objectives, one had 7, one had just 3, and it basically had like the hey, if you don't get to the middle of the board, you start taking mortal wounds stuff. So it was super fun. Everyone had a good time. It was an absolute laugh riot. Absolutely good time. Singles was great this year. It was probably the most wide open field we've ever had partially because Worlds was going on at the time. But everyone brought the hobby. Like for the first time ever, normally we do a nice showcase of like the top 8 armies or the top 10 because you get some ties there. We had to do top 12 because there was so much good.
Let me give you prep on that because people don't get this. For whatever reason, every single time I come out to Brian's, it looks like we're doing Golden Demon Awards because people come out in force with beautiful armies. And it's crazy. Your locals are cutthroat.
Oh yeah, and a couple of the Canadians came down. I don't know if you remember Burton Wright and Skylar Petrovich.
Yep.
A couple great hobbyists, and Burton's knights that he brought this year were absolutely glorious, absolutely beautiful. The problem is Jim Seidlinger went crazy and updated his display board and then put new models in that were even prettier than his old models. So it was just one of those like punch out fights at the top. And when the judges are split and the scores are tied via the rubric, and you're like, well, the fan vote's kind of going to decide who wins it. And you know, we got fancy this year and we had like a QR code where you scanned it and could do everything. We were fancy.
Modern technology.
And even that was close. I mean, I got to give Jim Seidlinger a lot of credit. His stuff was absolutely gorgeous. I have pictures of tons of things that I'll be getting up online shortly for everything. But we had some returning people coming back into the hobby. A couple of the old beef and wing guys from the Buffalo, New York area. Craig and Evan made showcase. Nice to see some of the old crews coming back around.
Gee.
We even had an original Du Bois member from 20 years ago when all of this started coming back into the hobby again. Playing his Tyranids, which was great. Jay Woodcock was out, so that'll
I don't believe you.
Jay Woodcock was there, and in doubles, he actually teamed up with, according to your buddy, one of the God Emperors of 40K. So you should know who that is. If I say that, who is it?
My mind is nowhere.
Oh, it's Sean Kemp.
Sean Kemp.
Sean Kemp came out.
I was gonna say you forgot you're gonna do 2 of those because Sean Kemp, nicest man in 40K.
One of the nicest guys. So they came out and they played doubles, which was fantastic. Good to see.
Good to see Jay back.
Yeah,
good to see both of them actually. I've seen Sean more recently though.
Yeah, Jay being back is absolutely fantastic. Good to see him back in the hobby. And it was a good time. I got to give a lot of shout out to my crew. I was having a horrible leg weekend where my legs just decided they somewhat hated me. So Zuber, Little Brian, and a couple of other guys really just helped out an absolute ton to make my life a little easier. It was fantastic.
I do like the fact that between you and Zoobs, you guys just found out that I wasn't doing well. And as our friend group does with, I mean, you know, it would really be better for you is if you're here with us and we could take care of you. Heard you were having a bad day. Well, that sucks. Be cooler if you were here. We would fix that.
Well, and we did the same thing we do at a lot of the events that I run. On Saturday night, we legitimately like went out into the hallway. We had tables set up for Blood Bowl, which turned into the giant hangout section. We ordered a shit ton of wings, and all sat around and told stories and drank and discussed Warhammer and everything else underneath the sun. It was fantastic.
Just the best thing.
Yep.
It is the best.
And of course, you know, we do have Toledo coming up soon, and as long as the snow gods allow us to drive out there, we will be there.
My house, this guy.
Yep.
So, stuff and things. You know what? We're going to Queens wave our way out of here. And we appreciate everybody hanging out with us in the afternoon. Just chilling. Appreciate it. Until that now, everyone, take it easy. Hold on. Stay milky. My bad.